The last part of your lab is to make something that works like a kaleidoscope. And so what I want to do is give you a couple of hints on how to start this if you're stuck currently, because I don't want you to spend a lot of time stuck. So what I have here is sort of some basic, all the blocks I need are here. I have a set pen color and I just have it sort of floating and I can pick whatever color I want. I'm going to use my green sprite, this sprite right here, to represent where my mouse currently is. And what that means is that I want wherever my mouse goes on the screen, I want this sprite to follow. And so what I'm going to do is there's sensing blocks in sensing. They're these light blue color, and they are reporter blocks, and they report exactly where your mouse is, the X coordinate and the Y coordinate. And so I'm using this mouse X and mouse Y block, and I'm going to use in my green when clicked. So this will be whenever I start, and then I have this thing that's called a forever loop. And it's going to make it do what's inside this over and over and over again. And I want it to constantly go to the location of my mouse, the X coordinate and the Y coordinate. So now if I click this green, you'll see that I actually have the yellow one set up too, but the green sprite is going to go exactly where my mouse is. And wherever I drag my mouse, that green sprite is going. Now, in this kaleidoscope, we want to be able to draw and then pick it up. And so what we've got over here is the command. When D is pressed, I want it to start drawing. And so I'm going to use the pen down. You'll notice that that's under pen. And pen is what we're going to use to trace on the screen. So I'm going to say pen down when I push D. And then so that I can stop drawing, I'm going to use the pen up when I push U. So these blocks, the when green is clicked, the when D is pressed, the when U is pressed, these are all control blocks that I find in the control. And you'll notice that the shape of these is a little bit different. It's got this swoosh at the top and then just the little button or the puzzle bottom at the bottom. And what that means is that this starts on a different command other than just when you click on it. So when I push the D, it's going to do exactly what's under here. And you can watch that that's going to actually change to that color, you can watch it as you're going. So I'm going to put the C in here to clear and clearing the screen. And what's going to happen is when I put my mouse over the stage, my pen, because I pushed D, is now going to draw. So I've got the green mouse or the green sprite completely under control. And the question is, how did I program the yellow sprite to do exactly what it's doing right now? So let's think about how this is moving currently. I'm going to clear the screen so that we're just starting from where we're at. If I move my cursor up, what happens to the yellow? The yellow and the green are staying at exactly the same height on the screen. What that means is that the Y coordinate of the yellow is exactly the same as the Y coordinate of the green, and those correspond to the mouse Y coordinate. So if I'm telling you right now that your yellow sprite is going to have almost exactly the same code as your green sprite, what that means is that where you see that the Y needs to be equal to the mouse Y, and I'm going to pick my pen up so that I don't draw all over the screen, over here, where I have that this mouse Y is the same as Y, on my yellow sprite, it's going to be exactly the same. And then on my yellow sprite, there is something different about the X coordinate. And let's look at that. I'm going to put my pen back down. I lost my green sprite. Sometimes Snap does some weird things. So I'm going to click stop. I'm going to click clear. I'm going to push restart. There we go. Now we're all in the right place. So this is a good thing to learn. If the mouse doesn't do what you want it to do, if the sprite doesn't do what you want it to do, you can always click stop, the red stop sign, and then click the green arrow. So I'm watching this yellow sprite, and what I'm noticing is I'm getting closer and closer and closer to the 0. And if I go away from 0 in the positive, the yellow is going away from 0 in the negative. Exactly the opposite of what the green one is doing. So the Y coordinate of the yellow is negative of the Y coordinate of the green. And I want you to see if you can figure out how you're going to do that, but I'm going to give you a hint The hint I have for you is that you're going to need to use these operators. And there's lots of different, there's actually several different ways to do this. But these green operators up here that are also reporters, some of these could be used to figure out how to make this be the exact opposite. So when I make my yellow sprite, I still am going to have a when clicked. I'm still going to have a forever loop. I'm going to have a go to, but I'm just going to change a little bit about where the go to goes. I want to make it yellow, so I'm going to have a set pen color to yellow. I still want the D and the U and the C to work exactly the same. So I'll still have those. So what I want you to see is that in the actual kaleidoscope, there's going to be 4 sprites. And one way to do that is actually to clone your sprites. If you come down here to your clones corral, if you right click on one of your sprites, you can actually click duplicate. And if I click duplicate, it makes me another sprite and it copies all of the scripts for that sprite. So it's doing exactly the same thing when I push the green arrow. Right now it's not because it's not actually executing this. So if you wanted to change the color, you could come over here and click on this, pick a different color, and click on it to make it happen. So here's my new sprite. I know that if I push clear, it's going to clear. I know that if I push pen down, it's going to push pen down. I'm going to hit the green arrow. And what you'll notice is now my pink and my green are on top of each other. So all I see is the pink. So I need to figure out is how to put this where it's supposed to be, because the pink one is actually supposed to be reflecting across the y-axis, which means that the x coordinates stay the same, but the y coordinates are going to be different. But you can use duplicate to get all 4 of your sprites out there and then work on what you need to change. And the hint I have for you is the only thing you should need to change from the code I've shown you here is these X and Y's. And you should be able to get all 4 of your sprites going to make a fun kaleidoscope. Then you can play with color and you can play with thickness and all kinds of things. But for right now, get this going. Good luck.